We all live on the dead giant. Yes.
Ash and Zach are super smart. They went to college and learned a bunch of stuff. And Beau and Andrew didn't go to college because that's the way life goes sometimes. What happens when you put them together and you try to make them learn? Grab your friends, let's listen together on Get Dumped on an Info Dump podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to Get Dumped On, an Info Dump podcast, or even the Info Dump podcast. I'm making this a bit now. Never mind. I must start over. Hey everyone, welcome to Get Dumped On, an Info Dump podcast, where the podcast we dump info about our special interests onto two of our other friends. I always make fun of Beau for being bad at these, but I guess I'm bad at them too. I'm Zach. That's me. Joining me is my lovely wife, Ash.
Hi.
Andrew, a good friend of ours.
Also brother of Ash, again.
Oh, brother of Ash.
Hello.
Only friend.
And joining us for this episode, our special 20th episode, is friend of the pod and recurrent guest, Justin.
Well, hello there.
Hey, Justin. And you may notice an absence in the pod. Beau is at a baseball game that he forgot he had tickets for. And yes, I will put him on blast for that. But it's okay because Justin's here. And Justin's great. Justin will be giving us a guest dump to commemorate our 20th episode on Vikings. So, hey, Justin, take it away.
Well, thank you. Yeah, so with this, I really did try and stay more towards the at-home culture of Vikings, more so than, oh, there were all warrior people that sailed the seas and stole shit. Like, everyone knows that about Vikings. The first thing you think of is this giant bearded dude with braids storming a beach and killing a bunch of Saxons to take all of their stuff.
I think that's a good idea, because I would love to hear more about, their daily life.
Yeah.
The home life of the Vikings. I love it.
Yeah, what did they watch on Netflix? I don't know.
Goats. It was just
Goat Flakes. It was Goat Flakes.
Goat Flakes.
Net saga flicks.
Zach and Andrew, are you familiar with Viking culture? Are you going to be going into this blind or informed? Or?
Yeah, I know of Vikings. I played Assassin's Creed Valhalla for 2 hours and I got sick of it. So I know roughly that they were a group of assholes who we discussed in the pirate episode. They would run around and be assholes to people. And that's really all I know about the Vikings. I don't know about their culture that much, or their daily life, really, rather. But yeah,
I was really into Vikings when I was younger. I don't remember a ton of it. I remember some stuff to the point where I'd say I probably know a bit. I'm sure I'm going to learn a lot anyway.
Yeah, I also know a little bit about Vikings, studied them at school and such, and always been interested. So I'm really excited to hear all the fun Viking facts today.
Yeah, let's go.
Well, cool. So the Viking Age is considered to be from 796 to 1066 CE. And
just a quick question before you get started.
Yeah.
That range, I know nothing about that range for this Viking era. What else was happening in the world that this can be compared to at the same time?
I don't know.
Ash and Zach, do you know this?
This was the height of the Wari Empire in South America.
What was there knights and shit around here? Was that later?
That was later.
That was later.
Oh, okay, so this is before Knights of the Round Table and shit.
Right. Yeah.
They were contemporary with the Ottoman. That's not right, is it?
The King Arthur stuff is those origins have their beginnings around 800. But they weren't knights in shining armor, that whole sort of thing. The sort of plate armor idea came out, is really popular. The heyday of plate armor was the 1400s to the 1600s.
Okay, so this is way before that.
Pretty much.
Okay, cool. Good. Carry on.
Yep. And basically at this time, Britain is a bunch of different factions of Saxons and cultures of people that aren't united under one kingdom. But with Vikings...
What was that little noise?
It took me way too long to get that. That's great. That was awesome.
All right, I'm glad.
I didn't get it. What was it?
I said that they were not yet united under one kingdom.
Do you get it? The United Kingdom.
I finally got it.
Like soccer, that's where that's played. You get it? There's a queen, or there was a queen.
I got it. We're good.
All right.
Bangers and mash. All right, keep going.
Now that we cleared that up, so Vikings
keep that shit coming, man.
Yeah.
Vikings
were
pay more attention.
farmers and hunters by day, and then could be called upon to go do like the raiding that you're familiar with for Vikings. And they would basically sail around in the Scandinavian area, attack anyone really not allied with them, take everything, bring it back, and then go back to their farming and hunting lifestyle.
Is it just like fun for them? Is this like a hobby?
It was kind of a method of sustainability.
It's extremely lucrative to plunder.
Yeah, like
yeah. It's all profit, baby.
They made shitloads of money, and they were also able to get some things they weren't able to either grow or hunt for in a desolate, snowy landscape that is parts of Scandinavia that they were living in.
Okay, so they're like looking for like seeds and watermelons and shit too, like so they could like bring it back to the place and plant it, or is it just mainly like money based?
Why watermelon? Of anything
you could think of. I'm sorry. I'm just now imagining just like a Viking dude with like a huge braided beard, with little toggles in it, just munching on a watermelon. Sloppily. Yeah. There's no decorum. Like he's just in there.
It's just dripping through his beard. But yeah, no, they basically, like, other people had things that they didn't, and they were like, I want that. I'm going to go take it.
They would also take people.
And they would also take people. So I was going to bring up, they did, in fact, own slaves. Those slaves were from raiding. Yeah.
No, I don't like that.
Not just the noble barbarians.
Super into slaves, weren't they?
They were, yeah. They had an interesting culture when it came to slaves, though, because, they were used as a commodity. They were sometimes sacrificed because they like to sacrifice people. But
they did?
In some cases, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That?
Yeah.
I'm already learning.
Ooh, can I tell a story I know about Viking animal sacrifice?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't want to take your thunder, but I want to.
I have nothing in here about it, so
take his thunder. Take it.
So one of the things that Vikings would do when sacrificing animals is that they would burn the bones, and then they would add them into the forge when they were forging iron, as like part of a ceremony to put the spirit or like the vitality of the animal into the weapon that they were forging. And in the process of doing that, it added carbon to the iron, which turned it into a rudimentary steel. And so they were trying to add strength and power into the weapons by like using the spirit of the animal, but they were actually accomplishing that without realizing it by adding carbon into the steel. And
that's fucking awesome.
That's amazing.
I love that. Like, I hate that they're sacrificing the animal, but like that's cool that worked out for them.
Like, it had its intended effect, just not for the reasons that they expected. That's so badass.
That's fucking cool. I didn't know that. Holy shit.
And I learned that, and I confirmed it. I talked to, when I was doing my an internship, I asked the curator, who is like literally like, I mean, he's the arms and armor curator, and he was like, yeah, that's a thing.
That's
sick.
Awesome.
Wow.
I love that.
That's sick, bro.
Yeah.
But aside from just sacrificing people, they even had a practice where some slaves could become citizens in Viking culture.
Okay.
So,
at least they had that. I don't like the slave part, but at least there was some way.
Yeah. It wasn't the best, You're still like, hey, you're that guy that was a slave.
No.
The thralls, right?
Yeah.
You always bring that up.
Yep, they were thralls. But they did also have a runic alphabet called Futhark, and it was an alphabet consisting of 24 letters, and later forms of it could even be translated into the Latin alphabet. So I even have a tattoo of younger Futhark runes that translates to English.
That's great. That's super cool.
Pretty cool.
That's fucking cool.
What does it say?
So funny enough, blending what I'm talking about in this podcast and what I talked about in the last podcast when I was here, it says Pirate's Life.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, why is the rum gone?
No, but that was actually one of the considerations I had. I knew I wanted a Futhark tattoo that was something pirate related because I just found that kind of funny. And
that's awesome.
Why is the rum gone? Pirate's Life, and Oh shit!
Shiver me timbers.
You shiver me timbers. Yeah. But while they had this system of writing, they mostly used it to carve runes into like stones or shields and weapons. They didn't really record stories that way, and stories were told by bards called skalds. So they would recite the mythologies and the stories around the campfire to entertain and educate. They were also
in the longhouse.
In the longhouse, exactly. And they were pretty lyrical too. So they would replace words to keep them from sounding so dry with things they called kettings. So, for instance, instead of saying death, they would call it the sleep of the sword.
That's fucking cool as shit.
That's
Right.
super badass.
If I die, you could please call it that.
He has taken the sleep of the sword.
But I don't have a sword though, so you got to like say something like you take the sleep of the hamburger or something. I don't know.
The sleep of the cholesterol.
I learned a little bit about kennings when I was studying Andean iconography because it uses a lot of visual metaphor. And so one of the books that I was reading about it was talking about them as being kennings. And like it brought up one of the examples from the sagas was referring to the ocean as the seal's field.
The seal's field. That's cool.
Does this have anything to do with flighting?
Flighting, no. Flighting is
kind of,
yeah. Like, you know, it's using the same idea of the wordplay. Flighting was like either having an insult duel with someone or trying to piece together the best like ad hoc lyrical phrase that you could do. It was a back form of entertainment of just being like, I am clever at putting words together, and it's fun to say things.
I like that.
I'd be terrible at that, but I'm great that I'm. It's it's really good that people did that.
Like rap battles.
I would love to see a flighting battle between you and Beau.
Rap battles. That's flighting.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's
a flighting.
The original rap battle. The first rap battle.
The first rap battle. The first epic rap battle of history was flighting.
I love that. I think I'd be pretty good at that.
I can't rhyme on the fly. I always hate it when we're playing Jackbox games and somebody wants to play New Rhyme City or whatever that one is called, where you're like the robot rap battle, because I'm terrible at it.
But usually the funniest ones, though, don't rhyme. I think me and Ash could have a pretty good rap battle.
Oh, yeah.
No,
definitely.
I don't.
can see it.
You win. I'm good.
I'm not saying do it now. I'm saying, but if we did one day, if like we're walking in the streets and we accidentally bump into each other and immediately a beat happens behind us and we have a rap battle, I think it would go pretty well.
I don't think I would be good at that.
It'd have to be a very specific situation for it to happen, but I think it would be good.
I would need a rhyming dictionary.
Hold on a sec.
The rhyming dictionary.
Well, you would have one in your pocket.
Dictionary.
All right, go on, Justin. We spiral a little.
Yeah, but in the 13th century, there was an Icelandic scholar named Snorri Sturluson.
Great name.
Fucking great name.
Snorri. Snorri. Snorri.
Snorri.
Oh, Snorri. How'd he get his name?
He snored.
There you go. Yeah. Quiet as a mouse when he's awake. When he's asleep, but when he's awake, he snored all the time. It's really weird.
Mouth breather. No, this guy wrote a textbook that attempted to explain kennings and translate them. But to do that, you need to understand Norse mythology as well. So he wrote and chronicled all of the myths together, pretty much wrote them down for the first time in something called the Poetic Edda. And he's really the only reason why we know fuck all about Norse mythology is because this one dude 300 years later was like, I'm going to write this shit down.
Hey, Snorri.
Thanks, Snorri.
Really good job.
Really,
Thanks, Snorri.
Really good dude.
It's essentially the Rosetta Stone of Vikings.
Yeah.
But a book.
Yep. Yeah, he's like, I'm going to write about all these kennings, but I guess you need to know this shit too. I should write that down as well. And then
like
that's awesome.
Deciphering metaphor from a different language and like a time that, you know, is gone is really difficult.
Yeah.
And Icelandic is the closest thing to the Old Norse language today. So he at least had that going for him, and that even 300 years, I assume that language tends to change.
It's like reading Beowulf or something.
Have you ever listened to the band Tyr?
Yeah.
TYR, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they're from the
Yeah.
Faroe Islands, and like Faroese is another language that's really close to Old Norse, and they sing a few of their songs that they do are like Faroese folk songs, or they just do songs that are in Faroese every once in a while, and it's fun because it sounds really silly.
It's yeah. I really enjoy. There's a guy called Einar Selvik. He actually did the vocal music for Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Oh,
But
cool.
he is from Norway, and he sings a lot of songs in I think Norwegian and Icelandic. He's like
Awesome.
he's like that. He's like the cultural guy. I mean, there's a reason why they pulled him for Assassin's Creed. He kind of knows his shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
but
super cool.
I am still talking about Vikings. I almost forgot. So
It's easy to spiral.
It really is.
So is. We do it all the time.
and I love
You
every
listen,
time
you listen to the podcast.
Yeah, I love every time that it happens. You just hear Ash in the background go.
Just sigh. Oh God, you fuckers.
But thankfully, we do have the Poetic Edda, and it is actually a really interesting read because it starts off with the story of creation of the Earth, like Midgar. And I promised myself I wouldn't talk too much about the mythology of Norse in this because it could be a whole episode in of itself. But basically, the Earth is made of the flesh of a dead giant.
That's Emir, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I played
Thanks,
God of War.
God of War.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. But another cool thing about their culture that you don't really think about is, in terms of relativity with other cultures at the time, really big on hygiene.
Oh,
Yes, that is one thing that I know about the Vikings. They valued
Really?
cleanliness more than, and that's why like farmers and stuff hated the Scandinavians because they're better than them. It smell.
Yeah, I actually have a little anecdote about that then, but so they were really concerned with their hair and would comb it every day. And they would bathe every, I think, Saturday.
it's called self-care sweaty. Look it up.
Yep.
Yeah, combs have been found in rich and poor graves alike. Combs
Yeah.
are extremely common.
They would comb their hair every day. And they took cleanliness so seriously that if you got someone else dirty as an insult or like cut someone else's hair, like if I came up to you and I threw dirt at you and I said, "Hey, fuck you," I could be exiled and ostracized.
Get out
Wow.
of here with your
They-
dirty
they-
hands.
Yeah, they'd be like, "You got me dirty, fuck you."
I'm fully supportive of that because you know what I don't like is having people throw dirt at me. 'Cause what if it gets in your
Yeah, I
eyes?
really dislike that. You know, Justin, you know about the ear spoons?
The ear spoons. Oh, to clean out their ears?
Yeah, a very common thing, the Viking artifact that's found are ear spoons, which are personal little metal things to clean out your ears.
It is so cool.
That's so
I'm not gonna
great.
lie. I have one of those.
Like, I really want one.
I have one. I clean my ears every day. Like my doctor has told me legitimately, you have the cleanest ears I've ever seen.
Well, you would not be ostracized from Viking society.
That's a very interesting compliment. Like, thank you. I do have
I
the
know.
cleanest ears.
I go to the doctor, they put that little ear thing in, and the doctor was like, "Dude, these are great."
I am obsessive.
I actually try.
But they also changed their clothes pretty regularly too. And one monk who saw it called it frivolous.
Oh,
He was like, "That's dumb. You don't need to do that all the time."
And they were like, you stink. And Scandinavia in general, ripe with hot springs. So they have that added bonus too.
oh, that's so
Ooh.
cool.
Yes.
Nice.
I do have that in here somewhere. Yeah, so they use streams in the summer and built communal bathhouses and saunas around hot springs in the winter to keep themselves clean.
I know that they do that in Finland still.
Yeah.
There's like very rare do they have like showers
Mm-hmm.
in their homes. They just have sauna. Again, but so me and Ash were Finnish by heritage or whatever. Their family,
Yes.
whatever I don't know what to call it. Our family had a part in building a Finnish American Heritage Association here in the States, and they have saunas there because of that. Like people from Finland come over and they're like, "Where's my fucking sauna?" They have them.
Gotta have a sauna.
That's
It's
awesome.
really cool.
I love to have sauna. And they'll go and they'll be like, do you want to have sauna? And I'm like, yes, I do.
Yeah, I wanna have
Yeah.
sauna.
But there are even some evidence of a little odd practices when it came to their taking care of like their personal self. They would groove their teeth horizontally.
What?
Yeah.
Ugh.
So like it's unclear exactly why or how, but some remains of Vikings have like 3 horizontal hash marks on their teeth all across the top row.
Wonder if that's like a weird tool use thing or status.
Yeah, I mean, some people theorize it could have been for intimidation. Some people thought, hey, maybe this is something they thought looked good. If you can have your teeth grooved, like, hey, this guy's got it.
The
I think
English are going to
status.
lose their minds.
Wait till they see this. But they had razors and tweezers and, yep, the ear spoons. Because they really believe that trimmed facial hair and keeping it groomed and neat was an indicator, along with beard length, of masculinity.
Everyone needs an ear spoon, and everyone needs beard trimmers. Those are two
Hear that?
main
To
things in the world.
To be a man, you gotta be clean.
Yeah,
You gotta be
Yeah.
clean, and you gotta have a beard.
and you gotta be able to hear. Get that earwax.
Sorry,
out.
Zach.
No,
Yep.
sorry. Can't grow.
Remember,
a beard.
Ash
Well,
said that she
you
wanted
would-
someone with a beard, and Zach, come on.
Yeah.
Well, you'll love this,
Hey,
Zach.
I've tried.
You'll
I'll get
love
you like
this.
a really convincing wig beard.
just glue it on. Oh, and they also had we found evidence of latrines.
Oh,
Basically, just troughs that were set off to the side to help carry your waste away. But
I mean,
they
that sounds good to me.
Yeah,
they were just shitting
Yeah.
in a pile.
they were
Sounds
just
better than dumping a
shitting
chamber pot out of a
arbitrarily.
window.
Exactly. We're throwing
getting the
shit
plague.
at people.
Yeah.
But Zach, you'll like this then. So there's a story about a man named Njal, who was
Njal.
he was very wealthy, but he was reported to have no beard on his chin. And throughout the story, this is mentioned a lot. Like they even call him hairless constantly.
Oh.
And because of this, his competence and manliness is called into question over and over and over again. So much so to the point that his sons are called dung beardlings. Because
Oh.
obviously they got facial hair from wiping poop on their face rather than their dad who couldn't grow a
rude.
beard. Yep, they
That's
called
so
them
mean.
dung beardlings. Your daddy can't grow a beard, so obviously you got it from shit.
Wow.
Zach, you'll like this. They would ridicule you if you lived
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah, Zach, you
Yeah.
came from shit, apparently.
Jeez. I'm sorry.
Like you call your dad after this, like, Dad, are you poop?
Are you poop?
Are you poop? You gotta tell me. It's illegal for you to not tell
You
me.
legally have to tell me.
But moving on from that, so then my little bulk on hygiene. I ended up going really into the paint on the hygiene.
Are you gonna? Do you have any plans to talk about hair color?
No, actually, I don't. Do you have an
If you
interesting
don't,
fact
if you don't
about that?
mind, yeah, I have a fun fact about that. Most Vikings were blonde or redheads. There were some brunettes, but blonde was seen as like the height of beauty, the pinnacle, and the standard. And so, what brown-haired people
They
would
do have more fun.
and they do have more fun, is they would use soap that has a lot of lye in it, and they would leave it on their hair for a long time, and it would effectively bleach their hair to a lighter color. But also,
shit.
inadvertently, what it was doing is that it would help keep your scalp clear of like head lice or any like nits or anything. So it was really inadvertently like helping with cleanliness while also reinforcing that blonde was the pinnacle of the beauty standard of the time.
Dude, the only
That's
thing I'm
cool.
learning in this
Wow.
podcast is that they have been stumbling to success this entire time. They're like, I'll throw these bones in here, see if the animals help us. Whoa, we made
Yep.
something fucking dope. Let me throw the shit in my hair to try to look blonde, and I don't have lice anymore. That's fantastic.
Like, that's awesome. To jump ahead in time a little bit, though, with the hygiene, so by the time that they were ingratiated in society over in Britain, they had become parts of, like castle guards and aids to the kings and stuff like that. But eventually, King Ethelred, I think Ethelred III, one of them, enacted the culling of the Danes and wanted to kill all of them. He didn't like them. These people are still other. And one interesting report that I read is a consideration for this was because people like Saxons were getting upset that their women were more attracted to Vikings because they cleaned themselves.
They're not
Don't hate the
gross.
player.
They don't smell.
Yeah.
Hate the game.
We need to kill all of them because they keep cleaning themselves and they're outdoing us, and that's not allowed.
They're
And my
making
wife
us
thinks
look
that they're
bad.
hot. I mean,
They're bathing
gross
weekly?
farmer.
Ugh.
Yeah,
What
like a
a-
gross
what
farmer who
frivolous.
hasn't bathed in 7 months, or a giant, very clean, bleach blonde, flowing hair, super clean Viking guy.
That's-
Bearded man.
It's literally that meme, you know, like the dude's crying on one side and he's like, "No, you can't clean yourself." And he's like, "My hair smells great."
I don't have lice. Fuck you.
Yeah. That's the thing that gets me about, the past like 10 or 15 years has been like, I feel like there's been this push in Viking media towards having them like wearing dreadlocks and stuff like that. And that just is like, well, first of all, white guys shouldn't have dreadlocks. But second of all, they're combing their hair all the time. Why would they have dreadlocks?
Yeah, they're combing their hair all the time. They braided their hair and were washing it enough to where it didn't turn into dreadlocks. Like that's some people, maybe who got ostracized in their culture for throwing dirt on other people might have lost a bit of their cleanliness and got some dreads, but no.
You can put me under the camp of thinking that white people with dreadlocks should be ostracized.
I'm also like, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
You just alienated someone listening to this podcast. Personally victimized.
Someone in Venice Beach right now is very upset.
Comb your
I'm
hair.
sorry.
And then talk to me.
Have fun being in your Sublime cover band.
Sick burn, bro.
That was great. Dude, that's like half of Southern California. Like, that's just half of it. Every bar I went to back home, oh my God, there's cover band, and everyone, what do you want to hear? Like, Sublime. Like, I'd rather die.
I don't practice Santeria.
Oh, yeah, play Santeria. Like, I'm going to go place myself under a bus.
Or a Viking longship. Hit us, Justin.
Yeah.
Yeah, get back on track.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we'll actually have a dumper chump for you guys.
Oh, look at this. Came prepared. Look at that.
Yep. So, of course we can't talk about Viking culture without talking about mead.
Oh, yeah. Let's
Do
talk
you
about
guys-
mead.
But before I ask, does anyone know what mead is?
Honey
Oh, yeah.
wine.
I love mead.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
don't
well
like
then-
mead, but I've had it.
Renders my dumper chump a little moot then, but yeah, it was
Oh.
water, honey, and yeast.
Yes.
It's rum, water, and lemons. No.
Grog.
And typically they would throw like spices and fruit and stuff in there, and I thoroughly enjoy it. Had I not drank to excess last night, I would be having some right now. In the spirit of this podcast. But the mead was so important with culture that in their mythology, there's a goat named Hydrun who produced mead instead of milk.
Oh.
Like they
He was
That's
wasted.
awesome.
Good goat.
loved.
Yeah, just
Wasted.
utters full of mead.
Uh-huh.
Utterly mead. That's right. Keep going.
It's
I,
straight
mead,
from
so
the
like
udder.
I don't really
Nyang, nyang,
drink ever, and the only one that I have enjoyed when like people are like, "Oh, well, try this alcohol. Maybe you like it. Maybe you should try this one." Mead's the only one where I'm like, "Holy fuck! Like I can get into this."
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you tried it when we went to
Yeah,
the place.
Justin and I were at a German restaurant, and you and I think one of our friends Matt got one, and I was like, I remember mead being good. Matt's like, try this, and I took a sip, and I was like, oh yeah, and I actually ordered one. So one of the rare
Wow.
times that I drank was with Justin recently.
When I went to Australia when I was in college, we were in an area that was known for being a bit of a wine country and also a honey country, and so naturally there was a pretty decent amount of mead. And that was the first time they had mead, was when we were going on some of these wine tours. They had like mead tastings as well, and I bought like 4 or 5 bottles of mead to bring home with me.
The meadery.
A meadery, and
Oh, yeah.
we had this
It sounds like there would
warm
be meat
spiced
there.
mead. It was so good. But then when I was on my way home, my bag was too big. My bag was overweighted to the point where they're like, you can't even pay like the heavy bag fee for this. You can't. You got to get it down to the point where you can pay the heavy bag fee. And I was like, ah, shit.
You're
Okay.
like, I'll drink all this right now in front of you.
And so one of the things that I did was like one of my bottles of mead, I was like, this is the one that I'm least excited to drink. I just gave it to a random person walking by in the airport.
Oh, that's awesome.
But they couldn't take it through TSA, so they had to drink it right in front of you.
Yeah, no, you can put it was before the checking baggage spoon, so they could just put it in
okay.
the check baggage. So There you go.
I don't know if it's the sugar, like, or the sweetness, but meat always gives me a tummy ache. Hurts my tum.
Crap, we're related. I might get that then.
Any time that my wife and I go to a Ren fair, we always go to the mead tasting booth first, buy a bottle, and then continue drinking through the rest of the day.
That's really smart. I'm gonna do it next time we go to.
You start
that's a really
on
good plan.
mead. You sip your way through their entire stock, and you buy a bottle, so you don't feel bad for just drinking a bunch of mead and walking away without paying for anything.
I like it.
And then you have a good time.
I love it.
But moving forward, Viking culture had a thing that's actually still in Iceland today called the Althing, and it's
The all thing.
Althing. Yep.
Okay.
I
AL
learned about that
thing.
from Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego on Windows 95.
That's awesome. I
What a
remember
throwback.
What a source to learn from.
Holy crap. But it was...
What is it? Yeah, I don't know what this is. So
Yeah, so it was at the Viking time, it was like a coalition of everyone would come together. It was a chance to bring in settlements. So you live in a village and you have a jarl. That's like the chief of the area. And then there is a king above you somewhere. He's probably very far away. So
king of just like everyone, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And every now and then they would call an Althing if they needed to, discuss something on a governing body sense or,
it was a meeting.
legislature. And then, but it was also a chance to kind of reinvigorate social standings.
Meading.
Yes, there was definitely plenty of mead, and it was a
There's a
time
meet
to
and
swap
greet?
stories. Yep, a meet and greet. Time to swap stories, time to meet people, and time to remember, hey, there's someone important, and I totally forgot who they were because I've been living on my farm for the last 10 years,
Okay. Make sure like people are still alive. Like this Jarl died from
Right,
something.
yeah.
Like
Well,
that
this
guy's
is
now running
his
the
son.
show. This
Yeah,
is his
so,
son, Sleepy. Snorri died.
and they would also do some sacrifices there too, in spirit of things.
You said it was like a collection of nation states, though, right? Like a bunch of local populations that didn't have like a unified king. Dumb.
There were a unified kingdom, technically. So, like, there's the king, there's the jarl, there's their township, and then you're the farmer and Viking. And then we'd call them all together and be like, hey, remember me? I'm important.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Iceland's political structure to this day is still called the Althing.
Really?
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's cool. I really like that.
I thought it was kind of... I didn't know that until I was looking up stuff for that. But now it is important to talk about women in Viking culture, which was pretty... Not a bad time. Like, if you were to travel back in history and be a woman sometime, you could do a lot worse than Viking culture.
Yeah.
Women could be warriors in the form of shield maidens. They could become jarls and, lead people and have political sway. They could divorce their husbands. And basically the way that worked is a woman would be like, I'm going to divorce this guy. He's being a dick. I need you, and you to also say that we're divorced. And that counts.
Really?
It was basically like majority opinions of, she left him. And that's legal.
Does it have to be like a person in a certain like point in the cultural hierarchy, or can it
Nope.
just be like their neighbors?
It's Dave.
It was just like a bunch of people. If a bunch of people say it enough, then it's obviously true. So that's
Damn.
legal.
Could you prank someone into divorce?
Probably.
If you you get 10 people around, like, hey, let's go say that Timmy's divorced, and then
Let's
everyone
go say
says it.
that
They're like, oh, I'm divorced. Damn it.
Fuck.
And then you rig
Third
up
time
an
this
earthquake
week.
machine in their house.
I think that like
Call
if
back.
you were, I think like isn't it true that like if you're a thrall, you're not getting these what's the word that I'm looking for? Perks. Like you
Right.
don't get to do the married. You're not like running the farm, but like
No.
the upper echelon people, women at least.
Yes.
Is a
Yeah,
thrall?
I mean,
What's a thrall again? Is that
The
one of the
slaves.
former slaves, or is that a slave?
No, the thrall is a slave.
Oh, that sucks.
And they were usually the ones who would do all the like work.
Yeah. Hey, go
And
shovel
you-
shit.
Don't get rights. Okay.
And you don't get rights because you're a slave. And I stole you from somewhere else.
Yeah, you're 1,000 miles from home, and you get to feed the cows.
Yep. Have fun.
Wow.
And I'm going to make fun of you while you do
And you can't get divorced. I don't know. Maybe.
it. But next, I want to talk about a little bit with the funerals. So everyone knows the Viking funeral pyre. Put them out on the boat and set it on fire with an arrow. That was a thing. They would usually lay the boats with, if like you're a rich person, they would lay the boats with like swords, sometimes animals. It was very similar to the practice of like Egyptian culture of you take these things with you to the next life. Even so far as to some of those Viking boats having people on them.
Oh, what?
Like, these are my favorite slaves, and they're coming with me to the afterlife.
Are you fucking kidding me? Like, were they allowed to jump out of the goddamn boat?
No, and
Probably
they were
not,
usually
no.
alive.
Wow.
Yep.
What the fuck?
They would also not light the boats on fire, too. There's just like boat burials.
Yeah, they would just push them out because
They would just Boromir them.
Yeah, just let them go.
Just because the boat will help them get to the afterlife.
You're
I think I
free
saw
now.
one in a book once where they just buried the boat.
Yeah, I've seen that too. There's when we talked about the pets episode, the dog that they found was in a buried boat.
Yep, they would also
Scandinavia.
bury boats.
There's
So,
a woman
okay,
and a
question.
dog, I think.
What happens if they missed? They got the flaming arrow, and they're like, all right, pew, shit. Oh, shit.
Shoot
Oh,
again.
fuck. It's getting
They-
farther. Oh, God.
they would-
Oh, God.
It's that scene in Game of Thrones where
Yeah.
the Tully dies.
They would also sometimes just light the boat on fire before pushing it out in the water.
That's the
Seems
easiest route.
easier.
I would
Yeah.
do that.
So, then you don't
But
have the
like,
pressure.
what if they missed? Like, did that person not go to the afterlife?
No,
Oh,
he just-
well,
he's just gonna keep going.
He's just
I'll make
vibing.
it there. It'll be fine.
He's straight vibing.
Yeah.
the
But if
slaves on
you're-
the boat are like, once it turns around the bend, we could probably just
We can
bail.
leave. And if you were a rich person, having one of these funerals, a third of your wealth would go to your family. 1/3 would pay for the funerary services, your clothes, the stuff that goes on the boat itself. And 1/3 of your wealth would then be used to buy food and drinks for the after funeral party.
Damn, that's a party.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Hell
Especially
yeah.
like if a rich person dies, everyone's like, yeah, let's
Everyone's
go.
like-
This party's
Let's-
gonna be lit because of the pyre.
Let's go. But, they would also do burials, and that's how we found a lot of neat things. Like, one grave had evidence of sleighs being made out of, a wooden sleigh, and then ice skates being made out of bones of moose.
That's awesome.
Rad.
That's fucking dope as shit.
They had skis too.
Yep, they'd make a lot
As,
of bones.
as someone who plays ice hockey all the time, I want those skates now.
Well, I imagine they don't have very good longevity.
You know
Like-
what? I'm cool with it.
Going
If you step
moosing.
wrong,
Going
it
moosing.
might break.
Going moose.
Putting on my moose skates.
We can find such cool stuff. Like, so many really important discoveries have come out of burials. Like, people put good shit in the ground.
Yeah.
You were talking about the ice maiden in the tattoos episode.
Yeah.
Her burial was fucking cool as shit. And she was covered in tattoos of like cannabis and like cool shit.
No.
Oh wait,
Okay, no.
it was the griffin head. Cannabis is one of the wrong
This is a
answers.
stag.
Oh
That's
no!
right.
Now
I
our
was
practice
halfway
of
there.
doing the dumper chubs is backfiring.
Oh god, I'm starting to be dumb again.
Oh no. Retaining the wrong things because I think
Bo's
they're
not
funny.
here, and somehow it's taken away my smart.
Well, I do now have a dumper chump for you.
Ooh, good segue.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So when the Vikings first raided England, what was the primary target? Was it coastal settlements, monasteries, or cities and castles?
Okay, if Assassin's Creed Valhalla is at any way actually accurate, I might know this answer. But first, I'll ask Zach and Ash.
This is one of those things that I feel like I have a vague understanding of it. Like barely. I think it's monasteries because that's where all the good loot was, right?
Yep,
I think
that is absolutely correct.
That was my answer too. Okay, because in the game, when you get to England, the first thing they do is tell you to start looting monasteries.
Yep.
I think it also like was coastal sediments like in general, just because they're easy to like get in and get out, but those loot caches,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monasteries were not very heavily protected. It was just a bunch of monks, and they had shitloads of gold iconography for worshipping Christianity.
And as they were plundering the monastery, the monk was like, "You change your clothes every day? Ugh,
That's frivolous.
Meanwhile, I've got this golden crucifix and this like
Yeah,
This-
right.
This Bible that I spend every single day of my life painting little pictures into the margins of, and
You changing your clothes is frivolous.
Why does the church hate everything?
because they've been wearing the same burlap sack for the past 12 years without changing
They're
it.
like,
There's-
oh, rock
I
music
assume
is the
it's a
devil. Changing your clothes is the devil. Like, fuck off,
D&D
dude.
is the devil. But yeah, this happened in 791. Vikings started hitting Christian monasteries on the British Isles, most notably the monastery of Lindisfarne. And then,
That's the one I was thinking of. I couldn't think of the name.
Yep. And then by 866, they had established a kingdom in York, which is in northern England. So this is just a little tracking of expansion of history for the Vikings as they made their way out from Scandinavia. And by 911, Chief Rollo was given land by the Franks and established Normandy. And Norman was the name that the Franks gave to the Vikings there because they came from the north. They were the Northmen, hence Norman.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like, you think of that as such like a Norman, you know? But no, it was the
Norsemen.
North. Yeah, it was the Northmen because they came from the north and actually did okay in France. But then, come 981, Eric the Red was expelled from Norway and Iceland, and then found Greenland. This guy, nobody really liked him. He established, land over in Greenland.
What did he do to get exiled?
Probably, I think I meant to look that up. I think he murdered people,
Oh,
and with a title like the Red.
I assumed it's because he had
Probably.
red hair, but could be very wrong.
Yeah. But he was the father of a little-known guy called Leif Erikson.
Happy Leif Erikson Day!
Hinga-dinga-durgan.
Hinga-dinga-durgan. Yeah. Leif Erikson, as we all know, is the guy who actually found the North American coast long before that douchebag Columbus.
Yeah, fuck you,
And,
Columbus.
Fuck
set up
you, Columbus.
and very original named place, Newfoundland, up in Canada.
I just found this land. It
It
is new. Found for me.
It is Newfoundland,
Is that why Newfoundlanders talk like that?
probably.
They have a different
Maybe.
accent than the rest of
Yeah.
Canada.
Well, we studied the Viking settlements in North America a bit during my archaeology classes in undergrad, and they were established, but they didn't last.
They didn't really
very
stay there.
long. They had their jollies and they left.
They were like, this place is neat, I'm leaving.
Huh.
But Vikings even spread so far as to make their way into Byzantium culture and were hired by the leader of Constantinople and became city security. They were known as the Varangians, and they were paid mostly in wine and women, and they loved their job. These guys,
Oh, yes,
they
the
left.
Byzantine Empire.
I mean,
Yep,
they were going to
they
spend all their
left.
money on wine and women anyway, so.
Exactly.
This
yes,
just cuts out the middleman.
they just skipped the middleman. They came from the cold north all the way down into the sunny desert area of Turkey and was like, hey, I can make money being good at fighting, or I can be paid in wine and women by being good at fighting, and at least I can do something good with it too.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of evidence of trade and population mixing, all
Yeah,
over that area.
right. They were actually really good when it came to trading. They would. I even read a report that they even had trade so far as out to China.
Wow.
I think that they had silk, no?
They might have.
Is this the part that the 13th Warrior is about?
I don't know. I've never seen that.
Oh, that wasn't China. It was Antonio Banderas was playing an Arabian guy who was meeting all of these Vikings. He was hanging out with Vikings and writing about them.
Huh.
And he was playing a guy who was real. And he his writings are what we know a lot about Vikings from. But then there's also a bunch of fantasy shit, and there's Neanderthals
Yeah.
in it, and a dragon or something. I don't remember.
Well, that is cool, and I need to watch this movie now.
Just doing a quick lookup of it. Mostly clothes with wool and linen, though there is evidence of Viking silk, presuming that they had trade with Asia, mostly Byzantine or Persian Empire in origin.
Neat.
Cool.
That's awesome. But here's the sad. What ultimately did the Vikings in, most awesome in different cultures, was Christianity.
Of course.
Yeah.
Why do they hate Everything.
It began slowly with baptisms and assimilating cultures like, oh, hey, we're going to take in this practice that you do called Yule.
It's christening.
It's chrism. And slowly they just kind of assimilated the culture, brought them in, killed off the ones that were dissenting, and
Christianity
pretty much
loves to go like, oh, you're pagan? That's the devil. That's bad. You shouldn't do that. But also, we're going to take all of the good stuff that we like and just, that's ours now. What you
Right,
do,
yeah.
when you do it, it's the devil. When we do it,
Well-
it's totally fine.
they had even invented the word pagan for Vikings. Like, for a Viking, it's not like, oh, I'm a pagan.
Yeah,
It was,
yeah.
I'm Norse.
This
Yeah.
is just
Like
what
there was
we
no-
are.
Yeah,
No,
there
you're
was
a
no
pagan
distinction.
and
Yeah, there was-
godless.
Yeah, there was no distinction between, like, I believe in Norse gods and I'm a Viking, or I don't believe it, I'm a Viking. It was just, no, I'm Norse. This is the way things are. Like,
We all live
Yeah.
on the dead giant. Yes.
yes.
Yes. Yes.
And then someone stole my sweet roll.
Sick, bro.
But yeah,
Like
thank
an
you
arrow
for
through the knee.
thank you for joining me on this little journey through Viking
Dude.
culture. I hope it was
I love this.
informative as well as entertaining. Andrew,
A trip
What
through
did you-
history
what
on
did
the
you-
longboat.
what did you learn?
I like how they stumbled into success a lot. I think that was really cool. I also like that guy named Snorri.
Snorri.
And I'm glad that I think the
Snorri
Snorri
Chad.
thing is really cool because like without Snorri we wouldn't know most about this stuff. So I really like that. But I also like the whole they just were hoping for something and it just worked out way better than they thought it would.
Ash, what did you learn?
I really liked that Snorri wrote down all those myths. Thank you so much, Snorri. That is fantastic.
Yeah, snaps in the chat for Snorri for sure.
I always like listening and learning about Vikings. They're so interesting of a people, and we have Viking DNA. Technically, our paternal grandfather had his DNA tested, and from National Geographic, and they showed the like estimated map, and it was from a Viking group that originated all the way back in what is now Russia, and then migrated over to Finland, and then they kind of hung out in Finland. But so yeah, I liked everything.
Pretty great.
Zach, what did you learn?
I liked the swords, the sleep of the, what was it? The sleep of the
Yeah.
sword?
Sleep of the swords, the Kennings.
I like that.
Yeah. The
Sleep
Kennings are
of the
really interesting.
cholesterol.
I really like the gentler side of the Vikings, of the rhyming and the combing. I think that that's
And the
fun
clean
to-
ears.
And
Yeah.
the clean ears. Yeah, I want to talk more about like that side of things because everyone always talks about they used axes and killed people and did all of this stuff. Like, yeah, cool. But they were also people.
Mhm.
And they didn't wear horned helmets, and they
And they
didn't drink out of people's
wear horned
skulls,
helmets.
and they didn't have dreadlocks.
And they didn't have dreadlocks.
I
Those
saw
are
so I
all
read something
lies.
once that said that Vikinger, the actual like people who would be doing the Viking, would have like reverse mullets. And I don't remember the context. Zach, we talked about this briefly, but like it was
Yeah.
like short all the way on the back and like longer on the front.
Yep,
That was like a Viking hairstyle, a Vikinger
Interesting.
hairstyle.
a Vikinger.
Mhm.
Yep.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Also,
yeah.
when you're picturing Viking society, they considered people between the ages of 12 and 15 to be adults. Like you were fully expected to be able to run a farm by yourself by the age of 15 at least.
That's wow.
I can barely
Could you
handle
imagine
my
running
life
one
at
at
the age
15?
of 28.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Think about yourself when you were 13. Like what did you accomplish at that point, and what could you have mentally accomplished if you were given the opportunity to?
Acne
Especially
and
because
sadness.
they would like sometimes girls would be married off at like 12, 13, 14.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Different times, I get it.
But I guess at
it's
least they could
still
get
weird.
divorced later.
they
They
could.
could indeed get divorced.
That's great. And they were all very gossipy bitches about it, which I also love. Spill the tea. Spill the Viking mead tea.
Also,
Spill the Viking
I
mead
thought it was so interesting that like throwing dirt on someone is the ultimate insult.
That's so funny.
Exile worthy.
making
Yeah.
someone
Oh,
dirty,
yeah.
you can be exiled from society for. Like, that's
The most
great.
dangerous weapon the most dangerous weapon in the Viking arsenal. Pocket
Pocket
sand.
sand.
Pocket sand.
Oh, that's good. All right, end of the joke.
Fantastic.
Zach, take us out.
Hey, thanks for listening to us. This was Get Dumped On, Info Dump Podcast. If you like this episode, please send us an email. Let us know. Our email address is getdumpedonpodcast@gmail.com. Still waiting for any emails from fans, any listener feedback. Please do that. I'm not desperate. You're desperate. Shut up.
Beau's desperate.
Follow us. Beau's desperate. Yeah. Follow us
then
on
I definitely
Instagram
emailed
at
my load to the wrong
getdumpedon.
spot.
No.
And join us every Wednesday for Humpday Dumpday.
Justin,
This
thank you
has
so
been-
much for hosting. I'm sorry, Zach. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just want to say thank you to Justin.
I was just about to say that.
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you to Justin, friend of the pod, for hosting another maritime themed episode. Or
We'll see you in 10 more episodes.
Yeah, we'll see you again in 10 more episodes for whatever. Do you have any idea what you're going to be doing for episode 30?
Excellent question. Next slide, please.
And then they never saw Justin again.
Oh, good night. Good night, sweet prince.
Good. Have a good night or a good morning or a good day, whatever time of day you're listening to this. I don't know. We're recording it at night.
Did you just
don't have
Truman
to
Show
listen to
that?
it at night. I don't know. It's been a while
Good
since I saw the
afternoon, good
Truman
evening,
Show.
and good night. All right, see you later.
All right, see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Ash and Zach are super smart. They went to college and learned a bunch of stuff. And Beau and Andrew didn't go to college because that's the way life goes sometimes. What happens when you put them together and you try to make them learn? Grab your friends, let's listen together on Get Dumped On an Info Dump Podcast.
Okay,
Goodbye.
bye-bye.
When is Leif Erikson Day?
Hinga-dinga-durg.
All right, I'm here. Let's do this. Guys? Guys?